Hi, everybody. This time I want to talk with you about fear. When we have fear, it doesn't help to look away from it. It actually gives the fear more power over our lives. As unschooling parents, we're trying to walk into all of this with our eyes open, and that means we have to ask the hard questions of ourselves. If we truly want to be the best parent we can be, we need to face and overcome the fears that are keeping us playing small. We have all kinds of reasons for doing this. It's easier to conform with society's expectations. It's just not always the best way for us or for our kids. So I'm going to do something different with this podcast. I want you to think about some questions that I'm going to pose. I have 25 of them. So I want to ask the questions and we're going to get specific with your answers. It doesn't help for me just to talk to you and have it wash over you, but you haven't done the introspective work. You're going to have to do a little legwork on this one. So you can apply all these questions to each fear individually. I know you have more than one, but I want you to think of one at a time. What's the fear that's bothering you the most? Now, remember, there's no race to get this done. You don't have to crank out all your fears in one podcast. Other than the fact that the sooner you do address these fears, the sooner you can eliminate some of the anxiety in your life. So that's some good motivation, right? So I'm going to ask you a question here on the podcast, and then you're going to hear this. And what that means is I want you to press pause. I want you to take a few minutes to contemplate your answers. It's even better if you write them down in a spiral or a journal. Remember, the more senses you use, the more likely it will stick with you. So, you ready to get started? When I pause us with this little bell, click the pause button, get comfy, grab a notebook and a pen, take a deep breath, and we'll dive in this together. Once you've gathered all of this, come back and click play. So remember, the bell means pause the recording so you can think more about it. When you're done, you click play again, and I'll give you the next question. Ready? Go get your stuff. Okay, now we're back. What fear do you want to tackle first? We're going to really identify this problem. What triggers this fear? I want you to list as many triggers as possible. When did you first have this fear or thought? Has this fear shown up in your life before or something like it? Why do you believe this fear could happen? You have reasons that you've thought of. List them here. What supporting arguments do you have for this fear? Go ahead and list them. When you believe this fear or thought, how do you feel emotionally or in your body? What is this fear costing you emotionally, financially, spiritually, or otherwise? How do you benefit from hanging on to this fear? Does it keep you from taking some action? Does it allow you to blame somebody else? Usually we only do things that benefit us in some way. What good does this fear prevent from happening? This could be a way that you're rationalizing the fear, but list the good that you think can happen if you follow the fear. What bad does this fear prevent from happening? Maybe this is more your rationalization. What part of this fear or thought is in your control? What part of this fear or thought is not in your control? What do you foresee will happen if you continue with this fear without addressing it? Okay, now on to the solutions. We give so much thought to all those possible disasters that could happen. We go to bed worrying about everything that could go wrong. Let's try something completely opposite. Considering how many hours you've probably devoted to pondering your fear actually happening, allow several minutes to sit with this visualization instead. What would your life be like if I waved a magic wand and that fear or thought was gone? Poof. Imagine your life without the fear or thought. Give 10 descriptive words of what that would be like. How would that feel? Pause for a few seconds to feel what that would be like. How would you act as a parent if you didn't have this fear or thought? Describe what your life would be like without this fear or thought. How would you interact with others in your life if you didn't have this fear or thought? What else could be different if you simply did not believe this fear or thought? So let's tackle the ways to be rid of this fear. If this fear has shown up in the past, how did you successfully handle it before? What resources do you have that can shed more light on your concern? List them. What could you do to avoid the trigger if and when it shows up again? Because you probably know it is going to show up again. We get triggered from all kinds of things. So something's going to trigger this fear. What can you do to avoid it? What obstacles do you anticipate? You have a pretty clear idea of your life and where you're going to step into some obstacles. Where is that going to happen? What could you do for each of the obstacles you've identified? Can you find 3 different solutions for each obstacle? So hopefully you've listed the obstacle. Now across from it or under it, write, what are you going to do when this shows up? For instance, you might read more, you might watch a video, or go for a walk, or play with your kids, things like that. List 10 strengths or skills that you have for dealing with obstacles. You know, we don't tend to ponder our own strengths very much, but we should take the time to do that because you've done hard things before. What strength did you tap into? Dust off your superhero cape. You may need it. Think about this. 10 strengths or skills you have for dealing with obstacles. Okay, so hopefully this little exercise helps you deal with your fears. Use this tool to tackle each one that pops up for you. This is just one of the steps to help you grow your confidence as an unschooler, shedding some light on these fears one at a time and overcoming them. So have a great week, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.